Hello everyone, my name is Alex from Ernest Alex Reads, and today I'm doing my first ever collaboration. Today I'm going to be talking about how I rate books, how I use the 5-star system, and this is a collaboration. Like I said, I'm collaborating with Simone over at Simone I. She's just so lovely and I am absolutely obsessed with her videos. She's so creative and so articulate. She's just so good and I love every one of her videos, and so I'm so happy to be collaborating with her on this video. And we talked about doing this video, talking about our 5-star rating systems because reading books is so personal. A lot of people use the 5-star rating system, but the meaning behind each one of those stars is different for everybody. I'm going to be talking about that today, and I hope you do check out her video as well. It will be linked down there, and if you haven't subscribed to her, go subscribe to her. She's the best. Yeah, so let's get started. I have a couple of examples because I think that's just easier to explain, because while preparing for this video I realized that I'm a bit chaotic. Thanks to this video, now I know actually my system, and now I know exactly why I rate books the way that I do. I'm going to start talking about 1 star, why I would rate a book 1 star, and then work up to 5 stars because it's more fun that way. I hardly ever give a book 1 stars. In 2018 I didn't give a single book 1 star. I can imagine if I picked up a really damaging and problematic book, that I would definitely give it a 1 star if I even managed to finish it. But I hardly ever do it, and authors spend years of their lives pouring their emotions and feelings into a book, so I usually start every book with at least a 1 star, and then work my way up. Yeah, so I don't have an example of a 1 book star. If I start reading a book that is super damaging and just like horribly written in my opinion, then I would probably DNF it. But I have read a couple of 2-star books. One 2-star book I read in January was Wild Like Me by Louise Pentland. I gave this 2 stars because the writing style was just average, but I found the plot really not nice and sending kind of the wrong message to readers. I'm an adult now, and I know that a man can't fix my life or save me or cure depression. But if I was a younger reader and I read that, I think that it would be, it's just not nice, and it's not true. It's not true. So a main plot point, the protagonist Robin is a single mom, and she deals with something called the emptiness, and which is kind of just another name for depression, and she thinks that finding a boyfriend will help her get rid of the emptiness. And I don't agree with that, and I was bored and annoyed reading this book, which is why I give it 2 stars. All that to say, if I read something that's just annoying to me, or the plot is annoying, or it doesn't make any sense to me, or I can't connect with the characters, and the writing's like really terrible, then I would give a book 2 stars. But luckily, I don't do that very often. I always end up rating my books between 3 and 4 stars because I do a lot of research before I pick up a book. So let's talk about 3 stars. There are a couple reasons why I would give a book 3 stars. Either I enjoyed reading it, I was invested in the plot while I was reading it, but afterwards I was like, oh, I'll probably never think about this book again. Or I really enjoyed the plot, but I had some problems with the pacing or the character development, or I really was so into the book, like I read it in 1 sitting and I was super invested and there were all of the emotions and the feels, but then 2 weeks later I'm thinking about it and I'm like, ooh, it's a little bit weird, or it's super tropey, or I don't agree with this, and this in the plot, and my excitement while reading it kind of made me gloss over that. That was the case with Shadow and Bone by Leigh Bardugo. I think I read Shadow and Bone on Friday, Siege and Storm on Saturday, and Ruin and Rising on Sunday. I was very invested. But then when I was thinking about it, I was like, ooh, the world building, I'm not so sure. Also the plot points and the writing, like, I was super invested, but on average, 3 stars. Another example of a 3-star book is The Mars Room by Rachel Kushner. I read this and I thought it was an important topic to read about. This follows a woman who is in prison, and it is a look at the prison system in the United States. And while that's not the most enjoyable topic, I think it's important to read books that are not super comfortable and happy, that make you think. That's why I picked up The Mars Room, but I did not enjoy the writing style, and I had a couple minor issues with the main character, and so that's what made this a 3-star read. My go-to if I didn't super love a book and I didn't super hate a book is 3 stars. That makes a lot of sense if you think about it, but that means that there can be a lot of reasons for me to give a book 3 stars. I'm going to talk about why I rate a book 4 stars, and that's a bit hard to articulate because basically if I don't love every aspect of a book, but I really super enjoyed it, then it's a 4 stars. Maybe it will become more clear when I give examples. But basically, if I super enjoy a book, but there are just a couple things where I'm like, well, maybe that plot point or that character is not super developed and it kind of didn't add to my experience of reading, then it's a 4 star. So an example of that is The Clockmaker's Daughter by Kate Morton. Overall, I super enjoyed it. I love Kate Morton's writing in general. She is great at one of my favorite tropes of all time, or my favorite book setup, which is one storyline in the past, one storyline in the present, and they're somehow connected. I gave this book a 4 star because I was pretty confused the whole time. I was enjoying it, but I was just confused. The plot kind of went in a couple directions where I was like, okay, I guess. But I still really enjoyed it and was connected with all of the characters. So just because I was confused and I felt like maybe it could have been, I don't know, organized in a clearer way, that's why this one was a 4 star read for me instead of a 5 star read. The other example of a 4 star read would be something like Refuge by Dina Nairi. This was a super important topic. This follows an Iranian girl who moves to the US when she's a child or a teenager, and it deals with her relationship with her father. And it focuses on the 3 times that she is able to see her father after she moves to the United States, and it's a introspective look at the difference between an expatriate and an immigrant, and all of the emotions that surround that, as well as the look at the relationship between her and her father. This was a very poignant read for me, and I did really I was really thankful that I did pick up this book. This was more of an emotional read, and I ended up giving it 4 stars because I did enjoy reading it, and I was thankful that I did pick it up, but it wasn't like my new next favorite book. I hope that makes sense. A 5 star read for me is either I become super obsessed with it and I love everything about it and everything is working the way that it should be and I'm so invested that I just want to sit in my couch corner and read the whole day and enjoy all of it. Or it's a book which is hard-hitting, difficult, very poignant, kind of tackles difficult topics and is super emotional, but is still beautifully written. So beautifully written, and it's just the difficult topic is packaged within the book in such a and this very difficult and poignant and hard-hitting topic is tackled in a very well done and considerate way within the book. That's what I would give a book 5 stars for. An example of this is Jinko by Minji Lee. This book is a multi-generational saga that follows a family, a Korean family that is living in Japan post World War II, and this tackles a lot of racism towards Korean people and hardships like the immigrant experience, and a lot of emotions and trauma, but it was just written in a beautiful way that made me really sad actually in the end of it, but just really grateful that I picked up the book. It has really stuck with me for a long time, and I think about this book a lot. A example of a book that I flew through and was totally obsessed with and made me so happy and fangirl giddy was An Absolutely Remarkable Thing by Hank Green. I mean, this book follows somebody who is walking in the middle of the night and sees an alien, but she thinks it's a art installation and makes a viral video. I just thought the premise was amazing, and I also thought that for such a kind of silly premise, this book did so much to look at what it means to be famous in today's day and age, what it means to have influence, how fast-paced everything is going, how difficult and uncertain modern society is. That whole discussion was packaged really well within this book, and I read it in a day and I love it, and I still love it. So that was my video about how I use the 5-star book rating system in collaboration with Simone from Me, Simone I. Like I said at the beginning of this video, please check out her channel. If you have come from her video and have decided to watch mine, thank you. I really appreciate it. I love talking about books. I love reading books. I love being on BookTube. So thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you are interested in seeing more of my videos. Please check out Simone, and I hope you guys have a great day.